I am running. Holy cow. So, there's construction on the freeway. Also, construction at the airport. And plane leaves at 11:05. American Airlines says I have to check my bag 45 minutes before the flight takes off. And it's currently 10:14 and I'm running 4 terminals away. So, wish me luck. I'm dying. I'm dying. I think I made it. Holy, I'm so out of breath. I'm not in shape. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Oh, what a start to this vlog. I'm back. Let's go. Let's win the tournament. All right, guys, we're showing up, and for the first tournament of the Borgata Spring Open, gotta go ship the 6 max, which is my favorite event, and let's get to it. Oh man, 6 max, bro.
Wait, did you just bust?
It's sick, bro.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk.
Alright, welcome to the 6 max. The reason I love the 6 max is because normally there are 9 people on the table. With only 6, there's a ton more battling, a ton more interesting spots. I win a couple of small pots, and then I get ace jack in the big blind. The button opens to 1.2k, small blind calls, and while you could call, I think it's a much better spot to use aggression. I 3-bet to 6k. The button folds, but surprisingly the small blind calls. Heads up to a flop of 6, 7, 8, small blind checks, and I think it's best to slow down here. Not only does this not hit my hand at all, but these low middling cards shouldn't connect with my re-raising range either. I check, and the turn is an ace. Now I have top pair, but my opponent bets 12k. It's a big bet, and it's a little strange he's betting at all because this ace should be pretty good for me. I'm a little worried he could have a set or 2 pair. However, if he has a draw or a weaker ace, I want to charge him now, so I go all in for his total stack of 24k. He makes the call, he shows ace 9, I'm ahead, but I have to dodge a 5, 10, or 9. The river is clean, and I pick up a very nice pot to start the day. Fast forward a couple hours, I've moved tables, I've worked my stack up to 92.9k, and I pick up ace queen of spades in the hijack. I open to 2k, but then the button 3-bets to 6k. The small blind calls and actions on me. Now there are multiple things that are concerning here. 1. The button is not a super aggressive player, meaning when he re-raises me, I assume he has a very strong hand. The small blind, cold calling the 3-bet is also scary. She may not have aces or kings, but she still looks pretty strong. This does not look like an appealing 4-bet spot, so I make the call, and the flop comes ace queen 7. Holy cow, we flop top 2 pair. This is dream scenario. The small blind checks, I check to the pre-flop 3-better. I'm praying he has ace king, but he checks, so probably not. The turn is a 9, and now the small blind decides to bet 6.5k. I'm slightly concerned she could have 7s, 9s, or queens even for a set, but my hand is way too strong to just call, so I raise to 18,000. I want to start building the pot against hands like ace king, ace jack, ace 10, and if she re-raises me, well, I'll assume she has a set and probably just fold. The button gets out of the way. She does not re-raise. She just calls, which is a big relief. Going to the river, that comes a 10. She checks, and now I have the green light to go for value. I bet 30k. She quickly calls. I show my cards, and they are not good. Surprisingly, she did flop a set of 7s. I would have expected her to re-raise the turn, but honestly, she probably did get max value out of me, so props to her. Now I'm crippled, back to starting stack. I have 25 big blinds. I open ace 4 of hearts from the low jack to 2.4k. Hijack calls, small blind calls, big blind calls, 4 ways to a flop of 3, 5, 6 with 2 spades and a heart. Small blind and big blind check. There are a lot of chips in this pot. I bet 5k. I really just want to take it down. But if someone calls, I do have equity with a straight draw, backdoor flush draw. It doesn't come to that though. Everyone folds and I do get to take it down unopposed. Let's go. But then the next hour is slow. I'm bleeding chips to blinds and antes, and again, I'm back to starting stack. This time I pick up Jack 7 of clubs in the cutoff. It is pretty bottom of the barrel for my opening range, but I'm hoping for the best. I raise to 3.2k and get called by the small blind and big blind. Flop comes 8-6-3 with 2 clubs. I have a flush draw, backdoor straight draws, the blinds check, and I bet 4k. Similarly to last hand, I would like folds, but this time, the small blind calls, and the big blind raises to 15k. I only have 27.3k total. There's a case for going all in and praying I hit one of my draws. However, I think it's better to just call. I don't have any fold equity versus the big blind, and this way the small blind may come along, juicing the pot for if I hit my hand. He doesn't, he folds, and we're heads up to a turn which comes the 9 of clubs. Yes, we hit the flush. Big blind jams for my remaining 12.3k. I snap call. She shows 8-5 offsuit. She's drawing dead, and I win a big one. Let's keep the momentum, and what better hand to get than aces? I'm in the low jack. I raise to 3.2k. The cutoff calls, the button calls, the small blind raises to 18k. Action's on me, and I think there's only one move. I'm all in. 57,000 chips. Cutoff and button get out of the way, but the small blind is thinking and eventually says, let's run it. He shows ace queen of diamonds. The run out comes clean, and for the first time today, I passed 100,000 chips. Before we get into any more hands, I want to tell you guys about my next giveaway. On June 29th, I am going to buy 6 of you into an $1,100 tournament at the Aria. It's a $500,000 mystery bounty tournament. Plus, if any of us cash, we're gonna take 20% of the profits and split it among the other winners. All of us will win at least a little bit. Here's how I'm gonna pick the 6 winners. First, sign up for Coin Poker using code BRAND. If you're already signed up using code BRAND, great. 3 of the winners will be the people who play the most hands from now until June 15th. And the other 3 winners on June 14th, I'm going to be having a meetup game on Coin Poker. We're going to be playing 50 cent $1, and I am going to randomly draw 3 people who join in play with me at the Aria on June 29th. In addition, all the winners, I would love to take you guys out for a group dinner, and we can chat and laugh and have a meal, and we can all root each other on. So I think it'll be a great experience, a great time. I wish you guys luck. And let's get back to the hands. So from 30,000 to 113,500 chips, here we are. I get 4 or 5 of hearts on the button. The hijack limps. It's kind of a weird spot. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Maybe fold, but I decide to get in the mix with my suited connector. I have position on the button. I raise to 6k. Small blind calls, big blind calls, hijack calls. I didn't want to go 4 ways to a flop, but here we are. I hope I hit something. And the flop comes queen 8-7. I have a gut shot, but to me, that's not enough equity to bet against 3 opponents. So when the action checks to me, I check. The turn is the king of spades, bringing in a possible flush draw. I would have preferred the king of hearts, but here we are. Small blind checks, big blind checks, but this time the hijack bets 7k. If he bet big, I would definitely fold, but he bet small. I should still probably fold, but I start getting some evil intentions. This bet does not indicate strength to me. I have position, and there might be some rivers where I could take this away from him. I make the call, the big blind ends up calling too, and the river comes the 3 of spades. Big blind checks, hijack checks, and this is where position is important. I got to see both my opponents check. If either of these guys rivered the flush, they would have likely bet. And here's the thing. When I called the turn, I could have easily had a flush draw myself. It's much more likely than me having a hand like 4 or 5 of hearts. I think it makes a lot of sense for me to have a flush here. So I go for the bluff. 25,000 chips. I'm praying this works. The big blind is thinking, then folds. The hijack is thinking, come on, fold, fold. And he folds. Let's go. Come on. I'm riding the high of that bluff, but little do I know I'm about to be in a tough spot. I pick up ace queen of spades on the button, a premium hand. The hijack opens to 7k, and this is a problem. Now, if you're not familiar with tournament poker, most people open between 2 and 2.5 times the big blind. he raised to 3.5 times the big blind. I've been playing with him for an hour and a half. He doesn't normally open this size, so that brings the question, why is he doing this now? In my experience, when someone opens with multiple sizings, it's indicative of the strength of their hand. Bigger sizings equals stronger hands. My general response to this is to overfold. However, I also have a very strong hand. When the hijack opens, I would normally 3-bet ace-queen suited from the button, but in this scenario, I don't think that's the best option, so I just call. The big blind then goes all in for 33.5k. The hijack calls the all in. He only has about 50k total. Action's back on me. I don't know, what would you do here? I end up folding. The big blind shows ace king. The hijack has pocket nines. I'm kind of sick on the flop, I'm not gonna lie. But the hijack gets there on the river, and I save myself over 40,000 chips. It's level 11 now. I've been playing a little over 6 hours and I get dealt queen 10 in the cutoff. I raise to 5k and only the big blind calls. The flop comes 4, 6, 8 with 2 diamonds, big blind checks, and this board is not good for my range nor my hand, so I check back, and the turn comes a 10. I now have top pair. Big blind checks again. I'm thinking I probably have the best hand, so I bet for value 7k and he makes the call. Something interesting happens as the river's about to come out. His body language, the way he's holding his chips, it looks like he's getting ready to go all in. The river comes the jack of diamonds, and within 2 seconds he does exactly that. He jams for 35,000 chips. This is a very interesting situation. The river brings a possible flush. Now, when someone is out of position and they hit their draw on the river, they have 2 options. They can stay in flow and check, hoping that I bet the river, and they can either check raise or check call if they're unsure. However, the problem with this option is many people are scared their opponent will check back, and this brings in the more common option, 2. They can bet themselves. It disturbs the natural flow of things as I've been the aggressor, but it makes certain to avoid the dreaded check-check scenario. They made their hand, they want to make sure they get paid, but this is why it's interesting. Everything about this guy is trying to project strength. The river came out, and within a couple seconds, he confidently jammed his entire stack as an overbet. It's like he's screaming he's incredibly strong, but if he was actually incredibly strong, would he want to be screaming it? I don't think so. Unless it's some meta thing where he knows, I know, projecting confidence often means weakness, so he's like doing like the reverse flash type thing. I think about the hands that he could have that called the turn. A 10 doesn't make a lot of sense. It seems too strong to turn into a bluff here. Maybe a bad pair with a straight draw, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7. There's a chance he could have rivered 2 pair, or even just a jack, like jack 9. Sorry for the long explanation, but this is everything going through my head as I debate calling. It's a big bet, it's scary, but I decide to listen to my gut. I stick in the call, and he shows 5, 6 of clubs for the bluff. Let's go. Huge spot for this tournament. 30 minutes later, I'm on a different table and I pick up pocket 8s on the button. The cutoff opens to 6.5k. He has 37k total. He's a shorter stack, and as we're getting closer to the bubble, I think I can exert pressure on him. I 3-bet to 20k, hoping he folds, but I'm okay getting it in for 12 big blinds. And that's what he does. He goes all in. I make the call, and he has king, queen of clubs. King right away. And unfortunately, we lose the flip. Moving on, I get 3-4 offsuit in the big blind. It's not a good hand, but I am on the big blind. Button opens to 6.5k, small blind calls. I defend, and we're going 3 ways to a flop of ace, queen, deuce with 2 diamonds. Small blind checks, I check, and the button bets 7k. The small blind calls. I have a gut shot. Obviously, if I hit my 5, that would be great, but that's a slim chance. I do also have a diamond, and I'm starting to think of ways I can get creative with my hand. I make the call. The turn comes the 6 of diamonds, the small blind checks, and here's my thinking. When the button bets the flop and the small blind calls, what hands am I typically going to call with now? Probably not a deuce or even a queen. So most likely an ace or a draw. And I'm going to have a lot of suited cards in the big blind, so I'm going to have a lot of draws. I'm going to try to represent the flush. I bet 12k. It's a small bet. If I actually turned the flush, I would be betting this size as well. If I get called, I'm going to put the pressure on the river. The button calls, small blind folds. I'm getting ready to blast. But then the river comes out another diamond, and this is awkward. Most of the flushes that I would have would be low or middling flushes, and now with 4 diamonds on the board, I wouldn't be betting those hands for value. And I do have the flush holding the 4 of diamonds, so now I changed my plan to a check. I'm hoping he has an ace with no diamond. He checks back and immediately flips over queen 7 off with the 7 of diamonds. So he wins with a better flush. I'm very, very bummed because I think on most other rivers I would have gotten him to fold. There's 24 people left, 15 cash and make it to day 2. I really want that. But I don't think I have enough chips to just coast into the money yet, so I'm going to have to win some pots. I pick up queen 10 in the small blind, action folds to me. When opening from the small blind, I use a bigger sizing, so I raise to 12K, and the big blind decides to make the call. The flop is 4, 6, 7 with 2 spades. It's not good for my hand or my range, so I check it over to my opponent. If he bets, honestly, I'm probably just gonna give up, but he checks back. The turn is another 6. My hand is still not good. But the thing I noticed about my opponent is he's playing pretty face up. If he connected with this flop, he probably would have bet. So I don't think he has much of anything. And now I'm going to try to use aggression. I bet 10K, hoping that he folds, but he calls. The river is a 5, and this is where I feel a little embarrassed. I usually try to have good reasons for everything I do. I try to pick bluff spots where I'm telling a very believable story, or spots where I've deduced that my opponent is extremely unlikely to have a strong hand. In this scenario, my opponent could definitely have a straight trips, but I decide to bet anyway, 30K. The problem is I don't have a great reason other than I want more chips, and I'm kind of just flying blind, hoping he didn't river the straight. This time it did work out, he folds, but it was kind of risky and honestly not a play I necessarily stand behind. A little time goes by and now we're 3 people away from the money. The average stack is 200K, so I'm looking all right, but then I get into a big decision. I have ace jack in the cutoff. The low jack, one of the shortest stacks in the room, goes all in for 41,000 chips. Now 8 big blinds may not seem like a big deal, but if I choose to go with it, this hand will likely determine the trajectory of my tournament. If I win, I'll have above average chips on the bubble, which will allow me to put pressure on my opponents and build a big stack for day 2. On the other hand, if I lose, I'll be crippled, and now I'll be one of the shortest stacks in the room. It's tough, but I decide to take the risk. I raise to 80K. I don't want the people behind me to get a good price to enter this pot, but if they really wake up with a monster and shove, I leave myself enough where I can still get away and preserve my tournament life. Everyone else folds. It's the moment of truth, and my opponent shows Jack Queen offsuit. I dominate him. I just have to dodge a queen. No! What? Ah! Okay, so this is what I didn't want. This was the worst case scenario where now I am a short stack and now I just have to fold and fold and fold and fold and fold and lose big blinds and lose small blinds and antes. Until we hit the bubble. Don't forget to use code BRAN. Remember, I'm giving away 6 tickets to the Aria Mystery Bounty. Don't miss out. Link in the description.
Alright, congratulations everybody, we're in the money!
Yay! Hey Rishi!
We made it.
Yay! I'm so happy.
Shut up. Hey, I'm happy. I'm happy, okay?
As long as you're happy, Brad's not mad.
Are you happy?
Oh, I'm happy.
Let's go. We got a baby stack here. But, I mean, 20 bigs, it's just going to be really deep coming into day 2. I mean, first try, what can we do? I mean, I can't complain, right? All right, let's go.
Hey,
buddy?
I actually love you.
I love you too.
Thanks.
It's a guy love between 2 guys.
All right, we are heading into day 2. The 6 Max is one of my favorite events. I mean, the fact that there's How's it going?
What's up, man?
Anyway, the 6 Max is one of my favorites because there's so much battling compared to a regular 9 Max table. You just have to get more involved. And here we are. Technically, I have very much playability. I have like 20 big blinds. However, I am one of the shortest stacks of the day. So I'm gonna have to spin it. And we'll see. We'll see. Crossing my fingers. I'm just gonna do my best. That's all I can do. Let's go.
All right, so a couple hands into day 2, I pick up King 9 of Hearts. I have 18 big blinds now, and the button opens to 10K. I don't think I'm supposed to have any flat calls here from the small blind, so it's between folding or all in. It's nerve-wracking, but I decide to go all in for 88,000 chips, really hoping he folds, and he does, and we take it down. The next one is pretty off the rails, just warning you guys in advance. I pick up 10-9 offsuit on the button. The hijack raises to 12K, and here is where the hand should be over. I should not be playing 10-9 offsuit here facing a raise. It should be in the muck. However, there is something different about this hand. It's the second hand of the day, and the big blind hasn't taken his seat yet, which means there's a chance this hijack is opening light, just trying to take down the dead money. Even with all this information, I should probably still fold. But as you might have guessed, this wouldn't be in the vlog if I did that. I make the call, and we're going heads up to a flop of 10-7-3 with 2 diamonds. The hijack continues betting for 15,000 chips, and I'm thinking, I have top pair, but it's very vulnerable. This pot's already so big with the dead money. If I can get him to fold, my stack will be up to 30 big blinds. I think I'm gonna go for it. Deny equity versus his overcards, charge him if he has a draw, put him in tough spots with his middling pairs, and if he has me beat, I guess it is what it is. I go all in, and he snap calls. He has jacks. I'm in rough shape, but the turn gives me a ton of outs. Any 6, 10, jack, or diamond will give me the best hand. One time. So I don't get there. As much as I would have liked to, it would have just been me getting rewarded for a bad play, so I can't be too bummed. I'm still happy I cashed for $1,325. I got to grab dinner with a friend. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one, and don't forget to use code BRAN. Later.
Once again, now it's getting unbelievable, 'cause I could not have it better.